What is happening, everybody? It is your boy Blake Money, Blake Weather. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, how you doing? How are y'all doing during this corona epidemic, this craziness that's going on in the world? You know, I'm a real person too. I'm just like y'all. I know, right? Like, Blake, what? For real? You're a real person? Yes, I'm a real goddamn person. And this whole thing has me really like kind of just, I think a lot of us are spending time looking inward, right? You ain't got shit else to do. You're probably hanging out with, like, you know, one or two people here and there. But you're not supposed to hang out with nobody. But, you know, you know, some of y'all still sneaking out for dick appointments and you know, now, you know, some of the guys, right? They just out here, they, you know, doing a little bit of wilding, you know what I'm saying? And it's okay. Just don't let don't get arrested. You know, don't be silly. But I think for the most part, everybody is kind of locked in place. Kind of just, you know, if you're a significant other, then, you know, you spend a lot of time together, probably more so you thought you would. And if you're by yourself, you spend a lot of time just like talking with people on fucking Zoom and like thinking a lot to yourself. And so it really got me thinking. This really got me thinking. I started going back, and some of y'all know this and some of y'all don't. Before I started getting in, before I even did podcasting, and before that I was kind of a DJ, a house party DJ. Before that I was an artist. What kind of an artist? Like, you draw paintings and shit? No. I was a musician artist. I was and I feel like there's some musicians going to get offended. So let me clarify. I was a producer, I was a rapper, and I was a singer. I did these different phases of my life that really... I use podcasts, so I'll say I use podcasting right now as a way to vent and as a way to get things off my chest in a creative forum. That's what I did with music back then. I had no fucking podcast back then. No, podcasting wasn't really, like, you know, nobody was hip to it. And this goes as far back when I think the first time I ever did a track was 2004. Maybe 2004 was the first time I ever spit a verse, recorded it. It was at my buddy J-Dub's house. Shout outs to, I think he doesn't even go by J-Dub no more. He goes by Joseph. Shout out to my boy Joseph. But I, you know, that was the first time I had, you know, somebody else's beat that was like a local dude. I went to high school with him. His name is Lyrics, Lyrx. Look him up. He's still making music. And we actually, he let me get on a song with him. And I just dropped one verse, and it was the song was already fucking beautiful. Maybe one day I'll release it. I'll reach out to him. But yeah, I I have a whole bunch of songs since then, and I went through many fucking different phases. So first I was a producer, and then I was a rapper. Like, I tried my hand at rapping, and it was fun. It was cool. I did a lot of the rap, right? White boy rapper, yeah. World needs another one of fucking them. But I'm Hispanic. I'm Mexican vanilla, so I don't think the world has enough of those. What do we have? Like, Be Real from fucking Cypress Hill? Like, anybody else? Anybody else out there? Like, I mean, yeah. Maybe the world needs a couple more me. I don't know. But I tried my hand at rapping. I enjoyed it. I did some very experimental stuff by the end of it. And that's actually one of the songs that I'm going to include here. I'm going to drop... I'm saying 3 right now, but I might drop 4 songs. And this is kind of the precursor to this. So I recommend listening to this before you get into the songs to understand, like, why I'm even doing this. One of my favorite songs that I ever did when I was a rapper is a song called Wake Up. And it was produced by a kid named Josh Flores. He's in a group now called Shadow of Wales. Shout outs to them. Go follow them on Spotify. And we were, you know, kind of the story with that is me and his dad was my music mentor. His dad trained him. He trained his brother Caleb and his other brother Levi, like all of his kids, Amira, and Taryn, all 5 of them. When I grew up with them, and so I was actually in a band with Josh called Invisible Target, and you can actually look them up. They're actually on Spotify as well. alt rock type stuff. That was kind of later, and then but before, Josh was a 15, 16-year-old producing beats, and his dad would sell them. And there was one beat that I heard, and he actually he gave it to me because nobody had bought it. And I was just like, bro, let me get that beat, please, please. Nobody's using it. And he was like, yeah, sure. So he actually threw me like 2 or 3 beats. And but for that, like when, you're making money as a 16-year-old and, money's money. And like he just had a lot of love. So one of the songs that I'm going to release here, and they're all going to be singular tracks. That way you can enjoy them and you don't have to hear me talking on them or anything like that. That's what this is for. One of the songs is called Wake Up. And that was kind of what I consider my lyrical heyday. I was in, I was actually, how the song came about was I was in a group, a rap group. There was a lot of different rappers. THC, there was like 3 different groups. THC, Fireboy Click, and there was another one. But the members of there's 3 different groups combined, and they formulated this kind of big conglomerate called Die Slow, ENT. And those that are listening to this and from Austin, you guys know. But this whole conglomerate group included rappers like Stat One, Clova, Lil Max, J-Dub was in there. A lot of people know Certified right now. I think he went by JD then, but he's Certified with an S, Certified. Yeah, that's him. Who else was in there? Cam Holmes. There was a few other guys. John Sense. I think he goes by Jonathan Ojeda now. He was in there. And so if you guys all look them up singularly, most of these guys all have Spotify's, and they have been doing it since then. But this was kind of my last foray. I was asked to leave that group back then, and it was no love lost because what I was doing was different from what they were doing. I was this very experimental type. Like I was trying to combine rock and house with rap before Timberland was doing this. Like Timberland was kind of bringing it, and I could kind of hear the wave, and I really liked the sound. I grew up with being who I am and growing up the way I did. I was too white for the Mexicans, and I was too Mexican for the white kids. And I grew up on the wrong side of 35 before it got, gentrified damn near, it's growing with the way it is now. It was not like that when I grew up. And so, first of all, to be where I'm at, I have blessings on blessings. I'm in a great position in life. But I wasn't all about like the murder shit and the drug shit. And I wanted to separate myself from that. So I was very influenced by rock, and I was very influenced like alt rock type shit, and I was very influenced by, kind of the new kind of this different type of movement, the drums and the sort of synth sounds and stuff like that. That very much drove me. And I was very influenced by a lot of lyrical rappers. Common's my favorite rapper. Lupe Fiasco, Mos Def. I've loved Jay-Z, Nas, of course. Like guys that actually spit some shit, and a lot of backpack rap I was into, right? Jedi Mind Tricks and Mortal Techniques, those type things. Of course, I loved Kanye. So I wanted to do something kind of in that vein, and what I was doing was just different. So after I left the group, or I was asked to leave, but we're all on good terms now, so there's no love lost. But I'm just taking you back through that journey. I remember I think it was that day I hit up my buddy Envy, and I went over to the studio, and I was like, bro, I need to get this off my head. I need to get this out of my mind. I need to do this. I need this to feel better. Cause like, imagine like your group of friends, like they're just like, hey, like you're doing this whole nother thing, and we just, we're trying to go this other way, and again, no love lost. Like, I was doing stuff before then, and I knew I do stuff after then. And so, I went over to Envy's house, and I've had Eric Envy Sadler on the podcast twice, and this is why me and him kind of go back. But we recorded this song called Wake Up. Well, I recorded it. I had the beat, and Josh Flores produced it. And lyrically for me, it was kind of like I hit where I wanted to hit, and I loved it. I still love this song. I actually performed the song. Funny story, 2 years ago when I got hired on by the company that I work for now, and the CEO came they do this thing where you got to give a shocking fact, when at one of the company all hand meetings, and mine was I used to be a rapper. And kind of 3 weeks into my job, kind of fast forward the story, she wanted me to rap. The CEO approached me at 9:15 in the morning. Hey, can you rap for us? We have a all hands meeting at like 1 o'clock. And then I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So actually, I performed Wake Up after I hadn't rapped for a decade, damn near. And I think I missed like 2 or 3 lines, but it was, it was fun. A lot of white people worked there, so it was fun to see a whole bunch of white people clapping and just enjoying it. All six, like there's 60 people at a time. It's grown a bit more since then, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun to do that. But yeah, I think for me that song "Wake Up" has a special place in my heart because it's not. I don't think it's cheesy. I think it's awesome. But I'm gonna let you make up your mind. I have a lot of nostalgic feelings for that song, and the way it came about was just so incredible, and it still kind of is a part of me. One of the other songs, a lot of these other songs that I'm going to put on here, they have to do with, I'd say, my yearning in growing up for being what I referred to myself, and I think I still, I feel like this is the core of who I am. It's just a hopeless romantic. That's what this podcast is about, right? Like just trying to find love and trying to understand love in other people and relationships and dating and stuff like that. And I was always one of those I was always that embodied, and that was who I was. I was this hopeless romantic. This I had no confidence. So I was always kind of whenever I'd see a movie and it had like the lovable loser, I identified with that character. And so the next song that I'm going to include in here is a song called "When It Rains." And "When It Rains" I produced it, I wrote it, I sang it. This is kind of my foray into singing. Before this, I don't think I'd ever sang a song. And no, I take that back. I had sang. And I'll get to this story. I had dabbled in like rock music. And maybe I'll touch on that if I include one of those. I'll probably include one of those songs. I dabbled in like rock music and like kind of alt rock type shit, not like heavy metal or anything. So I kind of sang a little bit, but I remember writing this song and I remember producing this song. And the only thing I think that was like something that I didn't actually like do was the loop was from there's a guitar loop. And the guitar strumming, it's from an Acid loop. So Sony Acid's production program, and it came with all these loops. And I found one, and I built the entire beat around it, the violins, the drum line, and I tried to make it sound like, could this be the bass guitar and everything? I tried to make this sound like, could this be done with a live band, and could this possibly sound like a live band made this track? So a lot of the stuff sounds very as real as I could make it, and still sound like this is like a live band could perform this and it'd sound amazing. So this song is called "When It Rains," and "When It Rains" I wrote about a very special girl, and I had this mad crush on her, and we talked on and off for like probably like 2 years. And at that time, because this song, I recorded this in 2000 and either end of 2009 or 2010. I don't remember exactly, somewhere around that time frame. And I remember it was cold when I did this. I want to say it was like end of 2009, but it was definitely 2009, 2010-ish And I just remember when I wrote the song, I had never sang like that before. Um, it was just so many emotions hit when I wrote the song that I was just like, I have to sing this. And I know I've never been like, trying to like hold notes and stuff and like do all that, but I knew I could do it. And I remember writing it, I remember singing it, and like I don't know where the fuck it came from. I don't know what spirit took over me. I remember I would drink my Four Locos back then and fucking produce like well into 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I remember writing this, and I remember the song I wrote. I'd had the chorus already ready, and maybe you come back to listen to this, but the chorus is, when it rains I see your face, and when you smile it goes away. Do you know what you're doing to me, or what you're doing to me? I remember writing that whole chorus, the rest of it too, and I didn't have any verse to it. And so one day, I don't know, I think I got off the phone with this chick, and she still has a special place in my heart, to be quite honest. And even some people who, if you don't write songs, I think you'll always have certain people who will always just kind of have this little niche, kind of a little home in your heart. You know what I mean? And she's definitely one of them. And I remember we got off the phone, and I was just like, and it was just this kind of, she was going through some shitty shit, and a lot of like, just, I remember flipping through the channels and just kind of bad shit all over the news, and it was just like not like, it was just like not positive. But I remember thinking about this person, and every time I thought about them, like, the world just got better. And I that was one of the girls. Like, I don't know if I could say I was in love, but at that age, like, I mean, I think you know what? I take that back. I was in love, whether she was in love with me or not. Like, it's one of those things. Like, it's not infatuation or whatever, but it's love, and you do anything you can for this person. And I'm very emotional. I'm a Cancer, right? So when I feel something so strong, the way that I've taught myself to express that is with music or creativity. And this song is the embodiment of that. And I wrote the verse like really just like it just kind of came out, and it fits so well. And the second person who's the rapper on that song he's my mentor. His name is LD, Jason, and he was 10 years older than me, and he kind of showed me the ropes, and he showed me a lot. He was an OG in the game. He was a real like, oh, he's an OG, like he was for sure a gangster, but that dude like looked out to me like an older like brother type. And it was crazy too. His birthday is the day before my birthday, 10 years to the day, and his birthday's the same day as my sister. And he got I don't know, man, like the dude right there, my mentor for life, dude, looked out for me. But he's actually rapping on here, and he's got the just like a little raspiness to his voice. And man, I really wish that guy would have made it, and we still keep in contact. I love him. But me, LD, When It Rains, love that song. The other song I'll put on here, there's a couple, but I'll drop. And you can see me. I don't have this. Do I look like a guy with a plan? In the words of the Joker, do I look like a guy who has a plan? The other one I'll drop is Love, Heaven, and Hip Hop. That is a song where I was really into, the hip hop culture and, And the song, it's very old school. It has no hook. And Love, Love, Heaven, Hip Hop, each verse is about a particular topic. And the way that I the best knew how to describe it. And I try to describe love, and I talk about a real life instance with a buddy of mine named Daniel, call him D. But this kid had my dude had a girlfriend like every other week, bro. Like, fuck. And they were beautiful girls, like just beautiful. He's very well known as like the player of the South Side. And God bless him. He ended up meeting a girl one day. I remember fell head over heels. I say her name is Teresa, and that's her real name. and fell head over heels for this girl. They ended up having a kid. What's happening with him now? Long story short, didn't work out, but he's still doing good. But that was based on a real life thing. And I was going through, I remember heaven, just kind of thinking of the concept of death and the afterlife and hip hop. Like I describe all the subjects as well as possible using just, I don't think you need at the time, like this was, I think I recorded this in 2008, 2007, 2008. I put this on my MySpace. I think the song was on my MySpace, as was Wake Up. But this song really it resonated with kind of the lyrical kind of backpack rap kind of topic I was going for. Not a whole bunch of punchlines and stuff like that. Wasn't really my style. It's a little different from Wake Up. You can kind of tell like this is kind of me early on. I think the content is great, but I'm gonna let you be the judge on that one. And finally, I'll release. I'm gonna put Beauty Queen on here. Beauty Queen was my first foray into into rock music. So I was taking classes at ACC. This was 2008. I was taking classes at ACC, and I was in songwriting class, and I loved this class. And in songwriting, our assignment was to make a song in kind of a genre that we don't really normally do songs, and I was just like, okay. And I remember making the beat. I wanted to do some rock type stuff. I remember making the beat, and I remember writing the lyrics. The lyrics of this song are inspired by the same girl who inspired When It Rains. And I don't feel the need to tell her name. You know me. I'm usually, hey, I'll tell you who this is or this. Sometimes I keep things to myself. Actually, a lot of the times I feel like some people get the stigma about this podcast. It's a kiss and tell podcast, but that's not at all what it is. And some things you kind of keep near and dear to your heart. Beauty Queen is the semi-biographical song about the outpourings of this poor girl who, when I first started talking with her, she, we talked on the phone for hours. I mean, hours. And, let me see. I'm trying to think of when. We talked on the phone for hours. And one of the stories that she told me was she went through an abusive relationship, and she was like 18, so I was like 20 at the time, so she was 18 and 19, 20, I guess, whatever. And she just told me about the boyfriend, this boyfriend who she was trying to get away from, but she couldn't, and she would go back. They have like lapses where they were not dating and they were, and she would go hang out with him, and they'd go like, it was one of these like toxic relationships where you're in and out of it as a young person. And I think even as you get older too, like, they're bad for you and you still stick with them. And in this case, she was young, and I think, a bit like kind of like, I don't want to say naive, just not experienced. And you don't know, like, your self-worth is based on relationships. And you get out, you're like, who am I? What, these people, somebody's not going to make me feel this way. It's just very, just like, it's just very sad. And this was, again, the girl I ended up like just falling in love with. And I think through this story, when I look back of who I was, and I still am really at the core, like, if there's somebody that I love, somebody I care about, I want to protect him. And I think it had struck a nerve because I had seen my own mom go through physical abuse, and I think I have now this mentality of like, and that's part of the reason why I got into MMA. I want to protect those around me. If the situation ever occurs, it's not for me, but it's to protect those around me. Almost to be this, you could be a white knight, and I think that's what I was aiming for. But if you ain't got a little rust on your armor, then you ain't really been around. You know what I mean? But I was just so like, I hadn't when somebody unloads like that, and you start to feel these type of ways about a person, like, you want to reach out over the phone and fucking give them the biggest hug. You want to give them the biggest kiss and let them know everything's going to be fucking amazing. Everything's going to be great. If you're with me, I can make this so much better for you. But they, at the end of the day, they can only make their own decisions. That's why the song is semi-autobiographical, because I do describe sort of somebody going through kind of an abusive situation. And in the song, I do describe kind of the situation in the song, like the character is me and being with this girl, what that would be like. It never happened, but I describe the moment that never happened. But I think sometimes with music, you can become inspired by a situation and you can write it, and it doesn't actually have to be true, but that's the beauty of it. Movies aren't true all the time. They're inspired by certain things, and some things are embellished, left to the imagination. And that was really the basis of this song. It's called Beauty Queen. And I made it kind of just real kind of like rockish, kind of alt rock. And I remember when I recorded it, I recorded this song. It's actually When It Rains. I recorded with T-Flow, Teddy Flores, and this song right here, who's Josh Flores, who helped me with Wake Up, who produced that. I recorded this song at Josh's house, at T-Flow's house, in Josh's room. He had a studio set up when he was still working on his band, Invisible Target, and he actually laid down. So everything I did on this song, I produced it. Just kind of produced it in a program. I produced it in Fruity Loops, not using an actual keyboard, right? Like the keyboard. I didn't have any like a USB keyboard. All I used was my actual keypad, your ABC, your fucking keypad, because you can connect that and kind of make that a keyboard in Fruity Loops. I'm getting all off topic and everything, get a little in the weeds, but I didn't use any live instruments. And so when I played this for Josh, I remember I was looking for a studio bad, because I wanted to get this song done when I wanted to get it done. And again, I was so emotional about the song. I produced it. I remember writing the lyrics and crying writing the lyrics, because I was reliving what this girl told me. And it kind of brings a tear to my eye right now. I remember crying. I was living at my grandparents' house, and I remember just squinting my eyes and just tears rolling down, and my grandparents what the hell is going on with you, man? Trying to watch fucking TV over here, crying over here like a little girl. What is going on? I'm just allergies and shit. I don't fucking know, man. Goddamn, I'm allergic to this song. I don't know, man. But it's just it really is impactful. And so for me, it's one of my favorites. And I remember being so emotional that I wanted to record it. And I was hitting up all these studios. Nobody was in. Everybody was out and yada, yada. And Josh was like, can you be here at this time? I'm going to be here at this time. And it was right before traffic. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm on my way. And I think it took me an hour 20 because we lived on opposite sides of town. And we recorded it. I think it took us 3 hours. And he actually played on the chorus. He played a real guitar riff. Over some real guitar notes over the track on the chorus. And yeah, this is another one of those songs. Again, I hadn't really sang it ever. I'd never sang, and I'm not the world's fucking. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm not the world's fucking best singer, right? But hey, it sounds pretty good. You know what I mean? I mean, there might be a reason why I never got on stage or anything, but that's up to me. But yeah, it's more of the emotional impact of what the song meant for me, and it still means to me when I hear it and I think about it. And I had somebody, I remember playing it in class, and everybody fucking cheered. Yeah, long story short, so I did the song, put it into class, turned it in, and everybody was like, wow, that's really, I could hear this, somebody, and it still holds my head. Somebody was like, I could hear that song on an MTV show. I'm trying to think of what was there, they had some sort of Laguna Beach. They're I could hear this song on a Laguna Beach or something like that. The intro of some MTV song about teens, some MTV show about teens. I could hear this on there, and I'm that is the world's biggest compliment, because all these kids, you're in a class with 40 people, not the fucking clap if they don't want to, There was a lot of pressure though. Like I remember you had to play the song and you had to just sit by the speaker. I remember walking up, putting my CD, and they're like, you have to sit by the speaker and face the whole fucking crowd, and they're looking at you while your song is playing. A little nerve wracking because you can't say anything. It's not like you're a comedian where, you can say something just like break the ice, or you're not rapping and your mouth's not moving. All it's doing is everybody's listening and your eyeballs are everywhere in the fucking room, and you can see intently everybody listening. And they're judging you like, that motherfucker's a fuck boy, or like, all right, it's not bad. You know what I mean? So, just so many emotions. So those are the 4 songs. And I just kind of want to release this just to open up myself to y'all a little bit more in a different way. Like just being an unfiltered bachelor. These all have things to do with a part of my journey and a part of my life. And a lot of it has to do with outside of Wake Up, I think the other 3 songs on here, some part of it has to do with relationships and love and really who I am as a person. I love the idea of being in love. I love doing cheesy romantic shit. When I feel inspired to do so, when sometimes I get so over emotionally whelmed, I'll still write to this day. I'll still produce stuff to this day when I'm emotionally charged up. And that part hasn't left me at all. And it's just a piece of who I am. And I'm feeling some type of way right now. And I wanna express this and share this with y'all. So please, I hope you enjoy. This is just kind of the intro for all that. And went a bit longer than I thought it would. But I hope you enjoy this. I hope you listen to this before you listen to the tracks. And if you listen to tracks first, whatever, I hope you enjoy them. Reach out if you want to. Unfiltered Bachelor, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to me, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Obviously, if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, so I'm not going to tell you where to find it. You know where to find it. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much. And maybe we can discuss a little bit more, at least until the next time. We'll see you. Peace.